Nice, comfortable February night, a full moon, spring-like weather. A nice, comfortable time to talk to Tracy Rolle, who's running for District 1 City Council seat in the new city of South Fulton County. Um, there's like 70 people running for seven district seats. It's a lot of people. That's a lot of excitement for the new city. 11 candidates in just District 1 alone.
Yes, it is. It's quite a few of us.
Why are you running?
Well, you know what? Every year, and when we have times that we're looking at elections, I always tend to write down the things that are important to me and try to find the candidate. And for the most part, if the candidate does have an opportunity to win, we go in with promises and we end up walking out with part of them done, or, not necessarily all of them addressed. So, since it's so exciting, this new city, and, I'm here and I'm in the community anyway, I decided, why not me?
Right.
Why shouldn't I run?
When you talk about a new city, and there's so many things to get in place in kind of a short period of time, since the election is coming up pretty quickly, um, a lot of people discuss the issues, and crime, of course, has been the number one thing people have talked about out here in South Fulton County. But there are other issues out here too.
Yeah, there are, but the most important one right now is public safety. As we're thinking about the vision of our city, we know that we are at a opportune location. I mean, when I moved here, there were things that drew me to South Fulton, and that's being near the airport. It's a beautiful community. We have people that are truly involved and love their community. But on the same token, right now we have a little disruption in our community, and we have some things that we need to deal with. And, this challenge, which is what I'm calling it, this public safety challenge, is going to be the catalyst. It's going to decide how we grow. It's going to decide how we're going to attract business owners. It's going to decide, when we decide to put entertainment in the area, are the constituents going to be safe when they go to this? And it may even block a lot of things, because again, we can't attract people here if there's a public safety issue. So there are other issues, but that is definitely the main issue. As we're building a city, of course, we've been functioning as a city the whole time, but we have to transition, the infrastructure to our city. We have our police department, our fire department. At some point, I know that we want it more localized, because again, the time period that we have from when we make a call and we respond to a call, it has a lag time because they're coming from somewhere else. And we want to be able to put checks and points in place with our infrastructure, to ensure that we reduce that time. Having it locally can kind of prioritize, where we have our police department, things of that nature. So we have the public safety issue, we have the infrastructure, we also have, economic development. And in my situation, I like to say there are two: economic development as well as economics. For me, economics as a single mother means that I need to be able to afford, a quality of life, for me and my son, who is in college, but when he comes home, I need to be able to afford that. So it's not just about economic development and growth. We
Right.
need to be able to maintain, as much of our money in our household as possible. So when I say economics, I always find myself in that place where I work really hard. I develop a quality of life, for my son, and something drains it. And I just don't want it to be something that we're fulfilling for someone's wish list. You know,
Right.
economic development is necessary. We need to bring businesses here, because in my way of thinking, why should we have to pay extra taxes? We need to find companies that are going to come here, and we need to incentivize them, but we need to bring enough so that they can kind of buffer, so that we don't have to be responsible, excuse me, for all the taxes that we have.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? Economic development is necessary, but we got some huge ideas being thrown out there. And right now, we just need to focus on getting this city up and running. I I myself have spoken to some of the constituents, and they're afraid that the growth might be so large or so big because we have people who are pushing development plans, development issues, that somewhere in that midst of all of this development talk, that again we're going to pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so one of the biggest things that I do understand is that it's going to take time for us to grow. The first year is only 2 years, so I can't promise you much in the first 2 years, but to try to get this city to be safe and stabilized. I'm not that big. I'm not that person that's big on all these huge ideas right now, but I do see it in the future. So again, we have public safety, we have economic development in our economy, and building our infrastructure. Those are the things that are important right now today.
What about being inclusive? I know younger people, the millennials, they kind of communicate in a different way that's rather non-traditional, but is becoming traditional. How are you going to be inclusive with them?
Well, it's simple. We have to include them. We have to put things in place that are going to include them. And technology is huge with millennials. My son, he's the Generation Y, is what he likes to say. But he's a part of that. And right now, jobs. We need to be able to communicate because we need to bring jobs for these millennials. Right now, a large percentage of the people in the city of South Fulton go somewhere else to work. And our children coming out of college are trying to figure out where they're going to work. And this is the opportune time for us to make sure that we make them a part of this planning. There's always a generational gap. I'm 47, but I look younger. So when I'm talking to older people, they like to defer and say, well, you young people, you don't understand. And it's not true. They're smarter than we ever were.
Right.
Infants and toddlers and teenagers and our millennials and Generation Y, they're smarter than we give them credit for. And we have to include them by bringing the technology to the city. Making sure that we have affordable housing for them, making sure that we have job opportunities for them. Part of my platform talks about a lot of programming, and there's a lot of talent here, not just in millennials, but in, the baby boomers. We have people who have great talents. And I think that South Fulton as a city should try to embrace that. If I'm the council person, I plan on doing forums. Forums are not just for the election. I am really big on surveys. And even in my program, before you exit my program, I want your feedback. I need to know where I can improve. And millennials are good for that because if we put SurveyMonkey on, guess what? They respond.
Right.
Our older people, we have to make sure that we have ways of reaching them as well. So we will still have a lot of things done on paper. I deal with that with the sorority. We have information email, but we have to take care of our seniors. And, even in the planning that I think we must address are for family activities, recreational, things of that nature. But I could see a multifaceted, multitaskful recreational center where we have our seniors activities, we have our family activities, and we have our teen programmings. Because at the end of the day, we all were motivated and raised by our older, our parents, our grandparents. And to have all of that is not only cost effective, but it includes them. And when things are happening, we're not just going over to the south side for the seniors, or we're not just going to the northern South Fulton area for the teens for programming. I think that we have to be inclusive, and even in our planning and development, we have to combine generations because that's the only way they're going to have a fair chance. Because even being 47 years old, people try to shut me down saying I'm young and I don't really know what's going on. And I'm very well versed. I love researching. I love my millennials because you can't tell them much because the internet will tell them different.
Exactly.
Yeah, so we have to make a plan where everybody can be included.
Right. What do you say to the people who say, well, she doesn't have any political or government experience. Why should I vote for her?
Well, I go to the courthouse every week. I've been there since I've been dealing with government, since 2010. So, I'm sure that people have their idea of what government is, but to be honest with you, I don't really trust a lot of government. So, and
Right.
that's one of the reasons like I said, I'm running, because we're promised things, and as soon as you get in the office, it's not there. So for me, I mean, I've been self-employed since 1999. I've ran several businesses. I've seen the ups, I've seen the lows, I've seen it all. And if I can withstand that and still be here today, I'm sure that with the team that we build, of course, the city manager kind of monitors everything, and the mayor is going to be ultra important because he's going to be the person that leads the vision as well. With that in mind, I'm sure that I'm able to get the information, do some research, and translate it to the people, because ultimately at the end of the day, it's not my decision. It's never the politician's decision, but we don't see that. you know we have to get we have to have enough knowledge and ability and the acumen to be able to look at what's in front of us, do the research, and translate it to the people so they can tell me what needs to be done. Because that's the role that I would play
Right.
as the council person. That's the job.
Right.
And I mean, it's no different than in my program. I sit down, I analyze my clients, we talk about what the issues are, what the causality is of the offense, and then we try to figure out with us together
Mm-hmm.
how we can make this not happen again.
Right.
And this position is no different. You know, for those that feel you need that government experience, well, we all have government experience. We pay taxes. We go to, I mean,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah.
So the type of experience that I think I need, and I really would not have ran for this office if I didn't have it, is I have to have an ability to absorb information, research it, and translate it to the constituents. And in doing so, I feel that I would be fulfilling my promise to the people that put me in office. Yeah. So, I mean, us sitting out here talking, you and I do this, all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And, the purpose of me doing this is because, again, we have 11 candidates and 13 mayors. And I'm just this person that, I'm a quiet neighbor, but I'm a force in my industry and what I do. And I just need people to get a better idea of who I am. And I appreciate you for coming up with this idea. And I just want to thank you for it.
Tracy Rolle, District 1 candidate for the City of South Fulton.
Yes, roll with Tracy, roll. That's my motto. I want you to roll with me, and I will fight for you. Thank you.